Welcome. I'm Samela Dingus, and this is Your Next Option. And we are here today with Phyllis Taylor. I'm so happy to have her as my guest. She is a certified intentional creativity teacher. Tell us more about yourself, Phyllis.
Thank you for having me, Samla. This is very appreciative. I am a melder, as you call us, and back in 2011, I relocated from Atlanta, Georgia to Orlando, Florida, because my children and grandchildren were here. But that didn't go the way I thought it was because they have their own lives, and my grandchildren aren't babies that need grandma. They're teenagers,
Hmm.
and they needed their iPhones and iPads. So I found myself in a quandary where I had no idea what I wanted to do.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I am an artist, and yes, I do paint, but I realized I had to rebuild a life. I had to do something else. And I had been online learning how to use the internet and all that stuff. And I saw this painting. I'm a portrait painter. I do traditional classical portraits. But I saw this painting of this woman that just stunned me so much. I was like, wow, I want to do that. I want to paint like that. It's just one of those things that it just wows you. So I looked to see who did it, and I followed that woman for about 2 years because
Wow.
first thing was a gasp at how much it cost. And then I said, yeah, 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 you have to invest in yourself. What else are you going to do? Blah, blah, blah. So finally, in the end of 2016, going into 2017, I entered this school called the Color of Woman School,
Hmm.
where I learned intentional creativity. Intentional creativity is simply the fact that everyone is innately creative. It has nothing to do with talent or skill. You're
Hmm.
allowing your intuitive self to take over. You're going back to your childhood where you play. You give a toddler a crayon, they don't ask you what it is or what I'm supposed to do with it. They immediately start scribbling and doodling, and they'll go all over the house if you let them. And that's what intentional creativity allows you to do. It wants to take you back into that beginning stages where our creativity just existed. Creativity can only be untaught. Somewhere along the line, a child is told that their tree doesn't look like a tree and it
Wow.
sticks. It just, and the child won't say it hurts. They don't know. They just say I'm not creative. How many people have you met that said, I'm not
I'm not
creative. I
creative.
can't draw a straight line. I can't draw
Wow.
people.
Wow.
But it's not about that. It really isn't. It's about, I can compare it to meditation.
Okay.
I have tried to meditate my whole life.
Hmm.
My brain is filled with monkeys and other circus animals. I don't care. I could stand on my head and I'd still be wondering, why am I doing this? What's next? But then I realized my meditation comes from when I'm at my canvas.
Ah.
I can stand at my canvas and have an idea, and I'm just playing, moving the brush around, or my fingers, and all that while I think my idea is incubating. But you won't believe how much time passes.
Wow.
I could start at 1 o'clock and just be working and playing and doing stuff. And my daughter would go, Mom, we're supposed to go such and such and such. I said, yeah, but that's not till 5 o'clock. She said, well, it's 4:30. You
Wow.
know, you, you get in the flow, however it's best for you. So my painting is my meditation. And intentional creativity has taught me how to harness that. It's almost as if intentional creativity is like a lightning rod,
Wow.
because you allow yourself to put, how can I say it? I use my non dominant hand. I'm right handed, so I use my left hand.
Wow.
And I will start to write, or scribble or doodle using my non-dominant hand on the canvas because it frees me from the logical brain that immediately goes into the critic that says, what is that? That's not a face. And that's because I've painted classical portraits my entire life for 40 some years. So as soon as I start drawing something that my left brain doesn't recognize as a,
Oh,
so I use my non-dominant hand. And in teaching, that's how I teach others. I teach them to allow themselves to play, to go back into that childhood kind of stuff. And
wow.
just, I'll give them an idea, and I never show my students my painting until after they've started theirs, because I realize the first thing they're going to do is go, oh, I can't paint like that. And of course they can't. They're not me. So
Correct.
I let them get started. Then I'll show my demo and let them finish. And I allow them to create the image the way they want. It doesn't have to look like mine because they're not me. But the greatest thing for me is seeing their faces when they look at their painting and they're like, wow, I did this. That's the greatest feeling ever. And it
Wow.
feels good when they recognize it too, that it's not about skill and talent. Now, in the challenge I have coming up, I want to give people a taste of intentional creativity, but I want to do it through the healing of childhood wounds
Oh,
because a lot of times we lose our creativity in childhood. So if we can acknowledge and get in touch with wherever we've buried that little seed of creativity, and then we can accept that it's still there, just buried,
mm,
then we can activate it and bring it forward, put those wounds on the canvas and paint over them, make them pretty or ugly or however you want. Just get it out. And in that sense of releasing stuck energy, you're creating space for better things to come in, to write your own story and not let those old stories, run your life.
I have just inserted a link to your challenge, to your colorful creative cleansing challenge.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, and that challenge starts on Monday, September 21st. It runs for the week until the 25th. And each day, I will give you just a taste of what intentional creativity is and can be in your life. So hopefully, I'll get a lot of people interested.
That's excellent. Can you tell us how else you've contributed to the community
To the community as a whole,
as a whole?
okay. Well, I've been teaching for God knows how long. I'm 74, so I've been teaching since my 20s. Not in public schools. I usually teach in private schools or creative schools, like schools of art or community centers, because I always want to grab the people who like to draw but are afraid to show their drawings because they've had people make even though it may be well intentioned, but a lot of times the comments come out wrong. Because
Hmm.
we artists are very sensitive. And even this past year here in Florida, I taught at two medical centers where I was
Wow.
teaching seniors how to do their creativity. And one lady said, "Oh, you mean we're not crocheting?" I said, "No," but she loved it. And I've had people in my classes for the past 5 years that kept coming back because they said it was the most fun they've had in their day, which I'm like, great, bring more. And I've also taught teenagers who may be in communities for addictions and where they're rehabilitating. And I've taught something called their vision, what's next for them. And Sometimes I teach kids, but you don't have to teach kids. I just let them play.
Hmm.
You know, they already know what they want to do. But mostly, and I've given lectures, I've facilitated workshops. I went to California and did a workshop there for young women in painting their muses. I was
Oh.
teaching them how to paint portraits, but it didn't have to be a quote self portrait. It
Mm.
was just an image of who they wanted to become. And I had so much good feedback from that that I was invited to speak at an event one of the young women was putting on. She wanted me to do a workshop at her event. So it's been a fun ride, a different ride with my paintings because I still do traditional portraits because I like it. But now my portraits are of women who have gone through something, but they're more than just survivors. They have risen up. They've risen above.
Wow.
You know.
That's incredible. What a great contribution that is to the community.
Thank you.
So, how can we get in touch with you? Besides, I know that you're doing your challenge, but how about if we just want to get in touch?
Well, you can contact me through my website, which is paneartstudio.com. I'm also on Facebook as Pane Art Studio. I also have an Instagram page, but I'm not quite sure. I, I know it must be Phyllis Taylor, but I'm not quite sure how the Instagram label goes.
That's okay. We appreciate you.
Oh,
So, what I'd like to know now is if you have any parting wisdom for our followers and fans.
I do. If you are a woman, you have emotions and feelings that you may have stuffed. Stuffed meaning pushed it down because you still had stuff to do. You had children to raise, jobs to go to, houses to take care of. And in the times of trauma or crises, we still have to do what we have to do no matter how
Mm.
we're hurting. So, my parting wisdom would be please join me in my 5 day challenge to see how you can release emotional pain visually, creatively. Yes, I do advocate you do therapy. I'm not a therapist or a counselor, but there are many ways that you can help heal yourself, and using art as medicine is just one of those many ways.
Thank you so much for your wisdom and all of your great contributions and all of the great stories you had to tell. I look forward to seeing you one more time everywhere we go. Here we are, everywhere on Facebook. Yes?
Samela, thank you so much for this opportunity. Believe me.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. I
All
appreciate
right.
you.
Thank
Have a
you.
blessed day.
You
Bye
too,
bye.
Samela. Bye bye.
Bye bye.